Generating user stories is an essential process to the Agile project management framework. User stories should be brief and functional and describe a high narrative level. A great template for writing the story is, as a type of user, I want an action, so that, a benefit or value, the story size and the priority should also be tracked with the story. Here's an example of a user story. As a gamer user, I want to invite my friend so that we can play together. The size is 50 points, priority high. Another for this product might be, as an administrator, I want to ban users from the game so I can create a pleasant game environment. Size 20 points, priority low. Or, as an employee, I want to organize my calendar so I'm in control. That might be for another product. Size 30 points, priority medium. The advantages of user stories become evident in an iterative or incremental project approach such as Agile. They work especially well when the team is co-located and small. They help clearly identify user needs and benefits. The downside of the user stories is that they may not be the best approach to a well-documented and well-structured project. It is harder to articulate the requirements when the team is not co-located and they do not cover the technical requirements. When writing user stories, it is convenient to use index cards. The small size of the index cards limits the space and forces us to limit the story size, and leads us to break down large stories into smaller ones. Typical information that you should include on the story card: story title, story description, estimated effort, and its priority. You may also add story type or classification, or story acceptance and test requirements. When writing a user story, you should keep in mind that the story cannot be too large. It should be bite-sized, that a single developer can deliver the functionality. If the story is too big, it is best to split the story into several smaller stories. Typically, when all the features are listed and the stories are written, you would see that it won't be possible to implement all of them. We are trying to fit this work into sprints. Features and stories should be prioritized, and we need to ensure that the stories we are selecting will deliver business value and are aligned with the product vision. For example, if you are developing a tic-tac-toe game, then the video call from within the app might sound like a great idea, but most likely is not essential to the capability of the game itself. There are a couple of prioritization methods you can use. First is the Moscow method, where each user in the story is prioritized as one of the following. Must have. The first version of this product absolutely requires this functionality. It is critical to the app's success. Should haves. It would be ideal if the first version of this application had this functionality, but isn't absolutely required. They may be as important, but not as time critical as the must-haves. The could-haves are the user stories that have value and is desirable, but ultimately not necessary. And the won't-haves are the user story that is understood to be among the least critical or lowest value. Alternately, you can use a simple numerical prioritization method following similar criteria. Stories classified as ones are critical and must be delivered. Stories classified as twos have value, but if they have to be cut due to time or budget, they can be. Stories classified as threes are either low priority or need to be further unpacked and discussed. You can also employ financial measures for the features such as net present value, internal rate of return, or payback period. This is a way of placing value on features by financial returns. These types of measures are not often used in our experience, but if you would like to learn more about financial analysis of the project, check out our Project Management Bootcamp course, where you can learn more about project analysis and earned value analysis. The Kano model is a theory for product development and customer satisfaction developed in the 1980s by Noriaki Kano, which classifies customer preferences into 5 categories. The Kano model helps product teams put together a list of new features for development and then weigh these features according to 2 compelling criteria. Number 1, their potential to satisfy customers. Number 2, the investment is needed to implement them. You can think of the Kano model as the customer delight versus implementation investment approach. When using the model, the team will include the features that fall into these categories: basic, excitement, and performance, and avoid features that are indifferent or dissatisfactory. You can use a relative weighting process to prioritize features. The scale is irrelevant as long as it is consistent. For example, you can use a scale from 1 to 9 and assign relative benefits points to the feature, relative penalty if the feature is absent, calculate the total value, and calculate the percent value by dividing the relative benefits by the sum of the points for benefits and penalty. Relative benefit divided by total of total value. Then you estimate the effort to implement the feature in a number of days. Calculate the cost in percent by dividing the estimate by the total estimate, and then calculate the priority by dividing the value percentage by the cost percentage. Here is an example of implementation of the relative weighting approach. You can download an Excel file from the materials attached to this course. As you are looking at the priority column of this table, you can clearly see that you would first implement feature 2, followed by feature 3, and if you have to discard a feature, it would be feature number 1. Risk can also play an important role in the prioritization of features. There are many definitions of risk, and we will say that risk is anything that might jeopardize the success of the project. The most famous risks are schedule, cost, technology, business risks. You may want to add the column for risk to the matrix, and when prioritizing feature, include the risk into consideration. Risk management is a big elephant, so at this point, we will leave it as that. Later in the course, we will learn about Agile risk management.